Hi guys, Jay Smith here, welcome to the AskGolfNut channel, and I like to keep things simple. So we're talking about short game today, and I operate a simple 3-2-1 method for every single short game shot that I do. I have used this now for quite some time, and I haven't found any situation as yet that I haven't been able to use the 3-2-1 method on and still get a very decent result. So, what is 3-2-1? 3-2-1 is simple, 3 positions. Front, middle and back. You've noticed that I've got tees on the ground here, and all they do is signify different positions, ball positions, front, middle and back. Two different techniques, and I'll go through what they are in a sec. And then the one, never use the one. I'll show you at the end, but never use the one. If you're an amateur golfer, never use the one. So we're at a hole. I've popped us right close to the green. Now in this situation, we're 30 yards away and we're just off the putting green basically. And on this, I would either, depending on if I was on the fringe, I'd either putt it, or I would be using possibly even like an 8-iron or a 7-iron to just basically bump and run it, and then run it like a putt. Generally speaking guys, when it comes to amateur golfers, if you are an amateur golfer, putt it if you can. If you're around the green and it's puttable from a point of view, is not like clumps of grass around everywhere, putt it. As soon as you start getting much better, your handicap gets you get much closer to scratch, then your short game and your putting starts to equalise. But as a general rule for everybody, if you can putt it, putt it. Right, 3-2-1, let's go. So the first technique that I use is simple. So I keep the same technique within reason of static setup through both of these. There's a slight tweak on the last one, or the second one. But this is what I do. Let's just imagine, so let's put the ball in the middle position, off the middle tee, you can see there. I am aimed left, my body is always aimed left, my feet are always aimed left, that's the same for every single thing that I do. And I have got approximately 1 foot gap between my feet. So 1 foot width between you kind of get the idea. And then distance between me and the golf ball is no more than a foot length. So you've got a foot width for stance and a foot length for distance away from the ball. Nice and simple. I don't want to get any further away from that. If not, preferably a fraction closer, but not too close that you're hitting off your toes, but you don't want to get too far away because it can start interacting with the golf. Clubs bounce differently, which I don't want to. So that's a completely different conversation. And this is what we do. Ball position's in the middle. We are the right distance away from it, etc. from what I want. And the face is square, absolutely square to target. And my path of my golf club is going to come out straight, back, straight through. It's not going to come out exactly straight through. That's manipulation. But effectively, I don't want you pulling it in. No, I just want you to feel like it's going to go straight, relatively back, and then straight, relatively through. Try and keep it as simple as you possibly can do. Ball position's in the middle, and we just go straight back, straight through. You can see runs a little bit, but not a lot. And we have a launch angle, there you go, 34 degrees. 34 degrees, I am using a urethane covered ball. We are spinning around about nearly 4,000, which is fine for this size, this length of chip pitch, but fine. That's what we're talking about. That's kind of my stock shot. I play that often around the green. That's nice and simple. Okay, let's do another different thing. We now go back position of the tee. As you can see, I've moved the ball position now off that blue tee. Now, again, my blue tee is off my rear foot, and so the front tee is off my front foot. So you can kind of you don't have to use tees, you can actually use your feet. They're for illustration purposes only. And when you're doing this, you're doing exactly the same thing. No different, you are that far away from the golf ball. We have the same gap between our feet. We are setting the golf club straight to target. We're coming straight back and then effectively straight through afterwards. As you can see, running more. Straight away running more. Lower launch, runs more. That one's 26 degrees. And so depending on what kind of shot I would need it to run for, etc. I mean, again, I would be using that kind of technique possibly if I had a little bit of rough, tiny little bit of rough ball, not say rough, inconsistent ground conditions before the ball. I would use that one, standard chip, ball position further back with something like a 9-iron or an 8-iron to de-loft it to actually get it running out there even lower than that. Let's move it to the other one now, the furthest one. Now this one is risky. When I say it's risky, I will hardly ever use this one. Why? Because for the front position, it's getting very close to my low point. You know, the low point is where the golf club naturally bottoms out, like it does there, look. As I'm hitting down from the position of the ball being further back, my low point's nice and far forward. Even from the middle, it's still nice and further forward than that. When I'm starting to hit it here, I'm starting to really get close to the bottoming out, and I start to get a little bit worried. Now, this situation I would use for trying to get the golf ball higher up in the air. I need to float the golf ball higher, definitely. But there can't be anything before the golf ball. They can't be. Preferably there'll be fairly bare lie. And if that ball was on a little tiny tuft of grass, perfect. But even me, it worries me slightly that I'm going to interact with the ground first, or even slightly thin it. But no different. So we are same. Aiming left, ball is off the front tee, off my left foot, and I'm about that far away. You kind of get the idea. Exactly no different. Face is looking at target, and the golf club's going to come straight back as such, and then hit that next shot. You can see the height of that thing, so straight away goes up higher. What's that, 37 degrees? And I can get it up to about 38, 39. Although my bottom goes 50p, 5p, 50p, 5p on the basis of playing that kind of shot, it's a riskier shot for anybody. Doesn't matter what kind of level golfer you are, it gets riskier the more loft that you're trying to display to the golf ball. That's the 3 different positions of the first technique. That's the 3. The 2 bit is 2 different techniques. That was the first technique that I show you. What this one is the second technique, where I keep everything relatively exactly the same, but change just a couple of things. So let's just do the middle position. So ball is in the middle. We have an open stance. That has not changed. We are about that far away from it. That has not changed. And I've got a foot's width between my feet. That has not changed. So we're keeping everything nice and simple. Now, difference is what we do. We have a face which is slightly more open. They've been played nice and face square to a target path that's nice and square. This one, I'm opening it up a fraction. Not massively, I'm just going from straight to slightly open. The handle goes slightly higher. Yeah, I'm purposely trying to raise the handle slightly and feel that that toe is in the ground. Okay, I'm not like that, that's exaggerating, but you kind of get the idea. And the only now difference, that's all in static, the only dynamic difference that I have to do is rather than my golf club come back normal this way, I am looking at the golf club coming out this way. I'm trying literally to come out the same as my feet are this way. So if I was to swing normally with my feet position, I'd be swinging out like this across the golf club, across the golf ball. And that's what I want to be doing for this one here. So face is slightly open, middle position, and come across it. You can see nice and high, nice and spinny. That's 36 degrees. That's the same or very similar to the one that I do from the forward position of the standard technique. That's going to give you more spin. That's 6,500. And it's going to stop quicker. This one is a bit more of use when I'm in the rough and there's inconsistent ground conditions around the golf ball. The next one, what I'll do, I'll go back now to the back position, my trail leg as such, my back foot. And everything stays exactly the same. Now this one is definitely something that I'm going to use when we're talking about, there's a big clump of grass behind the golf ball. When you get around the green, you get that. If you were to do the standard technique with that big old clump of grass, even with the ball position on further back, if you go back here then down, you're still going to be interacting with a fair bit of grass. So by doing this way, you can cut through that grass and get a better result. Do it the old way, the face is going to twist over and you're just going to hit one low left and possibly through the green. So no different, we are 1 foot in between, 1 foot away, ball position's off my right foot, my face is slightly open, and our path goes exactly the same direction as our feet, just slightly across it. Slightly too hard, but pretty good. You can see straight away, lower trajectory, spins is still up, 6.6, 6.5, but trajectory is now down at 33. And you can get it lower. Remember, I think it was 27, was it? I can't remember now for the original one. This one will be higher because you're adding loft and then coming across it, but this is the kind of shot you're looking for when you've got nasty clumps of grass behind the golf ball. Right, so this one here is the worrying one. Again, the front one, the front position of both techniques is the one that I would only ever use if I absolutely need to. This is one that it's not a flop shot, but it is a shot that I need to get the golf ball going up and over a bunker, let's say. Right, no different. Ball position's off my furthest forward tee. Yep, and it's off my left foot basically. No different, my face is now open and we are about that far away from the golf ball, that kind of idea. And we are going to have to swing faster to get there. Too fast. You can see, as you go slightly faster, there we go. As you start displaying more loft, it does become more difficult to control distance. Absolutely it does. You're still opening the face the same amount. It's no different in all the three different positions. But because you're hitting later on the arc, you're hitting with effectively more loft. So you're going to glance it more. Spins at 6.3, so it's a good amount. I mean, look, launch angle's 43 degrees, but it's harder to control distance. I would ever only use this shot if I absolutely needed to. Much, much more difficult to control distance when you push ball position further forward. That's the two. What's the one? Well, the one is simple. One is flop shot. And this is where all technique of this gets literally shoved out the window. And guys, I will say this, if you're an amateur, do not use a flop shot. I know everyone loves flop shots, they do. They love playing flop shots, but unless you are a short game guru, or all you do is practice flop shots, well then you're kind of neglecting the rest of your short game, don't play them. Just don't. However, the one for me is flop shot, and I break every single part of the technique. So I am now standing further away. My feet are marginally further apart, you could say, as in masses. It's a normal shot, effectively. I'm standing that kind of distance away as if I was hitting more like a 6-iron or so. Why? Because I want to get this handle, I want to lower the handle. Why do I want to lower the handle? Because depending on what obviously wedge you've got grind, sole relief, and I'm trying to open the face. So we're not just talking the straight. Number one technique was that one. Number two technique was this one. Flop shot, I'm open the face. This is a 56 degrees. We're not talking it's a 60. So I'm gonna have to work a bit harder. So face is open and I've weakened my grip slightly. So I'm not my standard grip. I've weakened this off because I want to keep loft on the golf club all the way through. And then we put the ball position in the front position like that. Aiming left, that's the only thing. Handle lower, and we basically want to swipe across it. Now that's really as hard as I can realistically hit it, and that's gone 16 yards. So what we're talking is, even with a 56, and you do this with a 60 or a 58, and it's just going to go up your left nostril. But that is a flop shot, effectively. That is launching at 62 degrees. 62 degrees is a mighty high launch angle, and so especially off of this stuff here, is very difficult because this is tight. This is a properly tight surface. So actually, in some ways, hitting off this surface here is actually much harder to do than hitting off grass, because you do get a little bit of forgiveness when you hit off grass, especially when you've got the flop shot in mind. So remember, don't hit number one. That one there, the flop shot, don't use it unless you absolutely have to. I would definitely be not using a flop shot from 30 yards, but I mean, that was a fair, decent swing at 16 yards. But there you go. So remember, ball position, the further it goes, it does get a little bit, bum goes tweaky because of the fact that of the interaction with the ground gets a little bit less consistent. And so only use those ones if you have to, absolutely have to. But there you go. There's my idea of exactly how I do the 3-2-1 method to make sure you can cover every single short game variance in 3-2-1 steps. So hope you liked the video. If you did, thumbs up, go on YouTube site, so do I. Down there is the subscribe button. It's great for the channel if you could subscribe, it's free, so thank you. And next to that is a bell icon, that's a notification bell. If you click that one, that will notify you next time I upload another video. So I hope you're well, we'll see you again soon.